Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to MTG Traders. My name is Taryn, and today I've got a super aggressive, relatively cheap red-black vehicles deck for Amonkhet Standard. Starting off with creatures in the 1 mana slot, we've got a playset of Village Messenger. This 1 mana hasty creature is a great way to start off a match. Get in for 1, and if they just play a 2nd mana and pass, they're looking at a 2/2 creature with Menace. Simply fantastic to race against slower mid to late game decks. Moving up the chain to 2 drops is another playset of Forerunner of Slaughter, a 3/2 Eldrazi that can give colorless creatures haste. That ability will come in handy later, but being a 3/2 for 2 isn't bad either. The best part of his ability is that it's a mana ability and not a tap ability. He can crew a Heart of Kiran and give it haste on the same turn. Very nice. One last playset in the 2-drop slot is, of course, scrapheap scrounger. It's crazy how cheap this little guy is when he's in basically every other deck in Standard at the moment. A 3/2 for 2 that can drop to crew a turn 3 Heart of Kiran, his recursion makes him a real threat in the late game, as exile is the only way you'll deal with this bad boy. Moving up the chain of mana, we have a 3 of Yahenni Undying Partisan, another haste creature that has the great ability to grow as your opponent's creatures die, and become indestructible if you've got some fodder laying around. A subdued creature or scrapheap scrounger will do the job swimmingly. This lets you continue to attack in, and makes his growth rather inevitable. But Yahenni is the only creature in the 3 mana slot. Let's go to 4, where we've got a monster of a creature. Hazoret the Fervent is here, and he's no slouch coming in at a 3 of. There are no card draws in this deck, so we'll be running out of cards in hand by turn 5 or 6 if we're lucky. And if we're luckier, we'll have Hazoret in hand or on the board. The 5/4 haste indestructible god not only can crew vehicles, it can also help you finish off a game with his secondary ability, and massive power stats. Truly something to look out for in the mid to late game. And of course, we're running red mana, so we can't forget about the crippling Glorybringer. This dragon is a removal spell and game ender all in one. Having the ability to flame slash a creature and get in for 4/4 in the air is just borderline cheating. Play this guy back to back, it's GG for good. Glorybringer isn't a legendary creature, so exerting him turn after turn with 2 on the field is just, well, it just feels wrong. Moving on, let's talk artifacts. We've got a suite of vehicles here that do a ton of damage. 3 Heart of Kiran, 3 Fleetwheel Cruisers, and 1 Skysovereign consul flagship. Every vehicle here represents pressure, and one of the best ones that doesn't get too much love is actually Fleetwheel Cruiser. A 5/3 that gains haste and becomes an artifact creature on its first turn is seriously awesome. Not to mention his crew curve is actually lower than Heart of Kiran's, making a flipped Village Messenger have the ability to get the Fleetwheel rolling. Heart of Kiran is of course the turn 2 play you want to make, and a follow-up would be the Scrounger or Forerunner. And the Sky Sovereign is here to handle a messy board state or finish a game. Super deadly. The other cards in the deck, barring mana, is nothing but removal. We want to win the game quickly, so we have 3 Fatal Push, 3 Shock, and 3 Unlicensed Disintegration, to make sure nothing stands in your way. Shock being here instead of Magma Spray because we can use it to hit our opponent or their Planeswalker square in the jaw. All that's left main board is mana. 3 Foreboding Ruins, 3 Smoldering Marsh, 9 Mountain, and 8 Swamp. We've got a pretty clean mana base, and the only creature demanding double mana in the deck is Glorybringer, and by 5 mana, we should have it. But that is it for the main board. The perfect hand looks like this. 3 mana, 1 Swamp, 1 Mountain, 1 Smoldering Marsh or Foreboding Ruins. Then Village Messenger, Heart of Kiran, Scrapheap Scrounger, and 1 removal spell, preferably Unlicensed Disintegration or Fatal Push. As your turn 4 will usually have them playing their big threat. Unlicensed deals with that, and if Heart or Scrapheap are on the field, you can shoot them an additional 3 damage to the face. This would be an ideal hand, since it curves perfectly, and the first 3 turns I would love to draw 1 mana, a Forerunner of Slaughter, and Fleetwheel Cruiser so I can end the game as quickly as possible. You want to play this deck as low to the ground as possible. A blue-black control shell doesn't stand a chance if you continue to play your hand. Remember, control matchups don't stand a chance if they run out of cards, so remember to keep pushing. Moving on to the sideboard, it breaks down like this. 4 Magma Spray, 3 Lost Legacy, 3 Dispossess, 3 Sweltering Suns, and 2 Dust Stalker. This sideboard has been curated to deal with the top 3 decks of the format. Marvel, Zombies, and Control. Magma Spray and Sweltering Suns for Zombies, Lost Legacy and Dispossess for Marvel and Control, and Dust Stalker for aggro matchups that need a bit more muscle. We'll be releasing gameplay videos following this video, and we sincerely hope you like the deck. We love it. It's a ton of fun to play around with, and it can really do a number on the decks that aren't expecting it. The best part about this deck is that it's fairly cheap at MTG Traders for only around 90-ish tickets. Not too bad with a deck that has Fatal Push and Heart of Kiran in it. I highly recommend giving this a spin if you want. End screen. Like the video if you liked it, comment on what deck I should do a deck tech on next, and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Remember, preview season is coming up and we're going to be right in the thick of it, telling you what the best cards to get are. We can't wait. See you in the next video.